Duncan, Andrea Naverson, Hank Bauer with sports, Larry Himmel with the weather. At 11, this is News 8 Nightside.
The horns of plenty were honking tonight. Good evening, everyone. Traffic sure tied up Lindbergh Field tonight. Cars, people, car horns, more people. But now, most travelers are either here or out of here for the Thanksgiving holiday. News 8's NG Perez reports.
It isn't hard to find a lot of people with a little time to try to get somewhere here at Lindbergh Field. The rush started this morning and hasn't stopped since. Some travelers are lost in the shuffle.
Traffic's backed up. I probably got relatives back there, that are getting hungry. We're looking for turkey. We've been here an hour. They're supposed to be here to pick us up.
There's traffic backed up all the way, and we don't know when they're going to be able to get here.
Total nightmare.
How many bags are you checking to?
Tonight, there are the usual waiting lines and frustrations for people trying to get from here to there, wherever there might be.
Got to go see the family. Got to deal with it. It's here. You got to deal with it. You have no choice.
Just learn to accept it. I mean, if you don't stress about it, then, it's not that big a deal.
The frustrating part when you have travelers that doesn't know how to use the services correctly, and then they kind of like make things like tough for the ones that do know how.
They say it's the busiest travel day of the year, and before the night is through, airport officials say 38,000 people will come and go through Lindbergh Field. That's about 10,000 more than on a regular travel day. David Dials doesn't care what day it is. He's on his way home to Chico after 6 months in the Persian Gulf. He has his Thanksgiving plan of attack.
Playing football with my little brothers, relaxing, seeing the girlfriend.
Wherever all these travelers are headed tonight, most of them will be back on Sunday, the end of a holiday and beginning of another rush. MG Perez, News 8, Lindbergh Field.
The other big rush tonight is at the grocery store. We found plenty of last-minute shoppers stocking up on food for tomorrow's feast. Now, if you've forgotten something, it's not too late. We checked with several local markets and found that some of the major chain stores will be open tomorrow. But you should call ahead to find out if your market is one of them. With all the goodies around from Thanksgiving to New Year's, a lot of us will put on a few extra pounds. Now, if you don't want to go on a strict diet in January, nutritionists say this is what you should do. Eat before you go to a party so you won't overindulge. And when you do go heavy on the veggies and skip the dip. And go easy on the eggnog. It's very high in calories and fat.
In national news, more signs today the nation's economy is getting worse. Consumer spending dropped 0.3% last month. That's the largest drop since spring. It's also a sign that the country's fragile economy is headed back into a recession. Another sign of a weak economy, wages across the country fell by 0.2% during October. The 102nd Congress is adjourned tonight, let go just in time for the holiday. The final days of the Congress saw a flurry of activity as lawmakers push to get home for the holidays. Among the bills passed, a major bank reform bill and a transportation measure. NASA is trying to find out how one of its 2 rocket boosters used to launch the Space Shuttle Atlantis was cracked. Officials are examining the rocket with an obvious crack halfway around the forward section. The space agency says the damage may have been caused by high seas.
Another happy homecoming for local military personnel tops our news around town tonight. Amphibious Naval Group Alpha arrived this morning after a 6-month Westpac deployment. But there was some controversy surrounding one of the ships. Published reports say the USS Long Beach has been leaking nuclear coolant. The Navy says that's not true. His boat is destroyed, but a diver is in good condition tonight after a fire off Shelter Island. Firefighters say Stanley Jones was drilling a compression tank and some fumes caught fire. He suffered second-degree burns while trying to put the fire out. One other boat was also damaged. And these are the ones that didn't get away. Some huge fish caught off the coast of Mexico. It took Tom Flager more than an hour to reel in a 346-pound tuna. That's just 11 pounds shy of a world's record.
The holiday movie push is on, and that includes today's release of My Girl, the new film with Home Alone star Macaulay Culkin in a supporting role. But parents should know up front this is not another Home Alone. The film's gotten some heat for some of the subject matter, death.
Life isn't just death, Terry. Don't ignore the living. Especially your daughter.
My Girl is a coming-of-age drama about a little girl who's growing up and finding out life can be rough sometimes. We don't want to spoil the movie for you, so we're not going to kiss and tell, other than to say death is an issue in this movie, and if you have children, it's something you might want to consider before you let them see it. News 8 talked with the movie's director and its 4 stars.
If the child was upset by Bambi dying, by Bambi's mother dying, for instance, or the dinosaur mother dying in Land Before Time, or Cinderella's father dying in Cinderella, well then that child maybe shouldn't see the movie.
And I think it's really important to explain it in a responsible manner. I think the movie does that as well as any movie ever has, and certainly is a wonderful thing for a family to see together.
My mommy and daddy did that.
Actually, a very beautiful thing. And look, there wouldn't have been a Veda.
Columbia Pictures had leading child experts see My Girl for input. And for people with children, many of the experts believe the film does a great job at addressing important emotional issues.
And people that see this don't say, why did that happen? They say, oh, this is the film. Either they accept it makes them cry, or they say, oh, I don't want to watch this, or whatever.
Siskel and Ebert gave it 2 thumbs up. Local newspaper critics disagreed. Our producer left the screening teary-eyed and touched. But the question remains, is your child ready?
To me, it doesn't matter about age. To me, it matters of how the parents prepare their children. They say, like, it's bad for kids my age to see their hero die, but that's life. You live and you die.
My Girl is rated PG. If you're still not sure about your children seeing it, there is an alternative. A novel based on the movie is now available in bookstores.
Those little actors are old beyond their years, aren't they? Still ahead, how to get your home featured on News 8 Nightside.
But next, we'll return to Pearl Harbor. You'll hear the stories of San Diegans who were forced to live in internment camps.
Where can you choose from over 10,000 thoughtful gifts for under $20? Crown Books, where you'll never have to pay full price for gift books again. Every art, cook, children's bestseller, and paperback is discounted every day.
Anne Rice creates a world of witches, hypnotic, seductive, and deadly in The Witching Hour. Save 25%. And then, Anne Rice begins where Bram Stoker left off in The Vampire Chronicles, in paperback just $4.49 each.
So remember, if you paid full price for gift books, you didn't buy them at Crown Books.
If you head for the high country this ski season, do it in a new Nissan Pathfinder, and you'll get 3 free days of skiing for 2 at Steamboat Ski Town, USA, and 2 free round-trip air tickets, non-stop from LAX to Steamboat on Northwest. So buy a Pathfinder by December 3rd, and we'll help you get up here. Getting down is up to you. Buy a Pathfinder now, and you'll get free round-trip air tickets for 2, and 3 free days of skiing for 2 at Steamboat.
What will wise men be bearing this holiday? A Lady Seiko Futurist from Ben Bridge, wrapped in a Benny Bear. The Seiko U.S. Olympic Team Watch Collection. The water-resistant Seiko Sport Tech Chronograph. Wise men and women rely on our expertise. Ben Bridge, your personal jeweler.
A U.S.-run camp for Haitian refugees is filling up fast. Up to 10,000 Haitians are expected to crowd into the camp at the U.S. Naval Base on the island of Cuba. A Marine Corps general in charge of the effort says tents are going up in every place that's flat or can be made flat. In the meantime, troops from Fort Bragg are on their way to Guantanamo Bay to assist in this massive refugee effort.
And Andrea, 50 years ago, Americans of Japanese descent were sent to internment camps and prison because of their race. It all happened after the attack on Pearl Harbor. As we return to Pearl Harbor tonight for the final part of our special series, News 8's Marianne Cucci talked to San Diegans who suffered through a traumatic period in U.S. history, a time they can never forget.
When Pearl Harbor was attacked, it forever changed the lives of tens of thousands of Japanese Americans. They would suddenly become aliens, stripped of their civil rights.
They have said that the Japanese could not be trusted, even when showed that there was not one single case of sabotage or espionage. It didn't matter. You know, they said that, once a Jap, always a Jap.
The order was clear. Anyone of Japanese ancestry, including American citizens, must leave their homes, taking with them only what they could carry. Individual families lost tens of thousands of dollars in property and possessions.
Japanese evacuated from strategic West Coast areas show little apparent regret. They seem relieved, and some say it's like a holiday.
There was no holiday. They knew they were leaving their area. They were forced to leave their employment. They had to leave their farms and all.
The biggest reaction, I think, among everybody was fear, because this had never happened in this country. We had no idea.
For Kathy Zagawa and husband Ben, the day was April 7th, 1942. He was 11, she was 10.
I just remember a lot of people and a lot of luggage.
They boarded a train in downtown San Diego bound for the Santa Anita racetrack. Windows closed, shades drawn. People stoned the train along the way. For the first few months, home was a horse stable, where sometimes his sense of humor helped.
People are funny. Some people be bragging that they were in the same stables as Seabiscuit, you know.
From Santa Anita, most San Diegans were assigned to Poston Relocation Center in Arizona. The Zagawas were a family of 12, living in 2 small rooms that were infested with scorpions.
They get inside there when you put your clothes on, you better shake it real good, make sure there wasn't a scorpion in there.
Masaaki Hironaka was 23 when he was sent to camp in Jerome, Arkansas, and says their story deserves more room in the history books.
The main thing is to believe that it did happen, that we did have a violation, and we hope that it won't happen again.
I'm an American. I mean, I was born here. I speak English. I can't even speak Japanese. I look Japanese. I have a Japanese name, but I'm an American. I want everybody to accept the fact I'm an American.
Internees like the Zagawas and the others we interviewed went on to rebuild their lives without resentment. It's one thing to talk about forgiveness, they say, but America must never forget the lesson learned from this horrendous mistake. Marianne Kushi, News 8.
Next week on News 8, I'll be in Hawaii for a special live report from Honolulu. It's an hour special next Thursday night, looking back 50 years to a day that dramatically changed history.
Coming up next in sports, Hank has more on the big baseball trade involving Eric Davis.
And the Lakers continue their winning ways in Miami.
Basketball Network. You can't come up with the big seal.
If you thought a really powerful business computer was... we've got news for you. Introducing the affordable Macintosh Classic 2. Right now, you can pick up a Macintosh Classic 2 with Apple's special financing options. For details on this introductory offer, see your authorized Apple reseller today. But you'd better hurry. They're going fast.
There's something new at Ralph's. Something that will revolutionize the way you pay for groceries. It's called Ralph's Pay Choice. And when it comes to payment, it takes all kinds. Pay Choice Express Payment System gives instant check approval, takes ATM cards, and even credit cards. What other supermarket does all that? So now when you shop at Ralph's, you can pay with just about anything, even cash.
Everything you need every time you shop.
Dodge announces the new Magnum Series engine. Engines that deliver as much as 44% more power. Drop a 180 horsepower Magnum V6 in a 4x2 Dakota Sport, and you'll outpower and outpull any standard compact from Ford, Chevy, or Toyota, and do it for less than 10 grand. Dodge Trucks, a powerful way to rediscover American value.
Now, drive for the gold with up to $1,000 cash back on select Dodge trucks.
Working out could make you live longer, you know. Provided you don't get, like, hit by a bus on the way to the gym.
Join the Bally's Holiday Spa Pay-As-You-Go program. Just $18 a month. Call 1-800-WORKOUT.
Well, a couple of baseball players sure have something to be thankful for.
You know, I would love to be a fly in the dining room of Eric Davis' home and Eddie Murray. I could just hear him now saying, Eric Davis saying, thank you,
thank you for letting me leave Marge Schott, get away from that lady. And Eddie Murray, of course, thank you for the millions, Lord. The boys in baseball, yeah, they started to break the bank. Eric Davis, he's left the Reds. He joins his childhood friend and now seemingly the pseudo-Dodgers general manager. That would be Darryl Strawberry, who said he didn't like Cal Daniels. So Daniels is pretty much gone now with Davis coming aboard. What an outfield the Dodgers now have. Strawberry, Davis, and Brett Butler. Wow. To the Reds, and this was a trade, Tim Belcher and John Wetton, pitchers. Dodgers also get reliever Kip Ghost. 2 questions, who's going to wear 44? They say Straw will, and is he now Eric the Blue?
You know, I'm happy that it's over with. I get a chance to go home. I get a chance to play with my good friend Darryl. The Dodgers, I heard a lot about the organization, and I'm just looking forward to it.
Okay, so the Dodgers traded for Eric Davis today. The Padres, that's okay. They made a move today, too. They named Keith Champion manager of their single-A Waterloo team. How about that? So who do you think had the better day? I'd have to say L.A. Comments today from Joe McIlvaine.
Well, never as close as the newspapers or the media would lead you to believe. I mean, we've talked about a lot of different combinations, and part of our negotiation really was talking about some multi-players, Davis and some other people as well, in a real big scenario. We'd also talked about single scenarios as well, what for Davis, what for other people, and combinations.
I think the Padres' big acquisition this year is going to be Mariano Duncan. That way they keep Tony Fernandez happy, maybe Randy Myers as well. All right, ring it up. Eddie Murray, first free agent in baseball to jump ship. He signed with the Mets today. $7.5 million, big ones over 2 years. Yikes. This guy only hit .260 last year, 19 home runs, plus he's 35 years old. That's obscene. Lakers lost center Vlade Divac. He underwent back surgery to repair a herniated disc today. He'll be out 6 weeks at least, they say. Nonetheless, Lakers just continue to roll along. 89-87, they win tonight down in Miami. Byron Scott, 23 points tonight. He was the high scorer. Lakers playing some great defense. 8 times in 13 games, they've held opponents to under 100 points. And Miami's surprisingly good this year. 8 seconds left, and Grant Long ties the game at 87 all. Then Sedell Freed, who had only 4 points in the game, he wins it for the Lakers.
4 seconds, 3 seconds, 20-foot jumper on the way, good! The game's over, the Lakers win!
So the Lakers win their 9th straight. I guess the eggs are cold, is that how Chick says it? Phoenix dusted the Kings by 41 big ones, and Utah beat Charlotte. Elsewhere, Detroit winners at home, San Antonio 106, and Nets 100. Dallas, hey, the Pacers just a kiss away again, 113-106 they lose. Minnesota by 11 over the Noogies, Cleveland by 10 over Philly, and Boston, they beat the Magic back in the Garden. Now with the win, the Celtics take over first place all alone in the Atlantic Division. Larry Bird, season high, 32 points for him, 11 rebounds in this game, and he could pass too. Watch this. The block, Bird gets it over the shoulder, no look. Celtics win their 4th straight. Lakers, by the way, they play back in Boston Friday night. Reggie Lewis there, he finished with 18 points. The Goals, 6-3 winners back in Milwaukee. Goals now only 2 points out of 2nd place. They play back in Fort Wayne tomorrow. Dmitry Kvartalov, by the way, a hat trick tonight for San Diego, his 3rd of the year. Meanwhile, back at the Igloo in Pittsburgh, a tribute to their coach, Bob Johnson, who died yesterday of brain cancer. Fans held up candles in the dark. Also had his favorite expression painted on the ice. It's a great day for hockey, which it was tonight on the ice. Mario Lemieux, he came through for Badger Bob. 1 goal, 2 assists. Pins win 8-4 over Jersey. Elsewhere, Kings coach Tom Webster, unbelievable. Shown here during the November 16th game against Detroit. Didn't like a call. So what's he do? Throws a stick at the ref. Good example, coach. Good example. I mean, what a dink move this is. My goodness. Kings, they've been fined 10,000. Webster suspended, rightfully so, I think, 12 games. Al Luganville has been named WAC Coach of the Year by his peers. Marshall Falk named WAC Freshman of the Year. Football tomorrow. The Bears back in Detroit. Cowboys at home against the Steelers. And Mike Tyson, do we have time for Jacksonville? No? Okay, his trial starts in January back in Indianapolis. The judge there, a lady, this could be interesting because today she dismissed, she said no to 5 motions by Tyson's lawyer that would have dismissed the trial on race.
Kind of sets the tone.
You know,
Sports is legal.
If he's guilty, I just hope that if he's guilty, somehow he doesn't buy his way out of this thing.
We will see. Thanks. Back with Larry and Lotto next, and then later, forget the old lady who lived